is it?
Elliot,
What's the code?
my sweetheart.
Blue Stinger is a goofy, fascinating title from the early days of the 6th generation of gaming. Blue Stinger can be all over the place as a result. It suffers some common issues from the early days of 3D gaming. Yet Blue Stinger has an earnest charm about it that you don't come across these days. It's one of the funnier games I've played. Some of it due to the awkward nature of how it handles its conversations and voice acting.
Janine King. Elliot.
Let me introduce Janine King, a security guard here. Her skill is A+.
That said, there are a lot of funny scenarios our main characters stumble into. It doesn't hurt that Blue Stinger's main characters are some of the more memorable, likable ones around. A Dreamcast exclusive, Blue Stinger is a great title to give insight into the early days of the 6th generation of gaming, the best generation. And while I'm late by a couple of weeks here, Blue Stinger is one of the better games to play around Christmas.
You're good looking. I'll give you a Christmas present. It's Christmas Eve!
Blue Stinger begins on Christmas Eve of 2018. 65 million years ago, a crashing meteor caused the extinction of dinosaurs. At the dawn of the new millennium, there was an earthquake in the Yucatan Peninsula. The only thing left behind is a small island. Researchers discovered this island is the same size as the meteor from 65 million years ago. Racking their brains to come up with a name, the end result is Dinosaur Island. I guess that works. The biotech corporation Kimura has done classified research on the island since. This results in the island being a company town, or company island. Kimura calls the shots here. Elliot G. Ballard is vacationing in the ocean with a friend Tim near the island. We'll get treated to some of the game's signatures here. Awkward pauses in voice acting, and music drowning out the voice acting.
I'm just a crew member of the supply ship. Heck, I don't even get permission to enter the residential district on the island. What the hell would I know about that?
This is a pretty fancy boat for just a crew member.
Blue Stinger has several mentions of Christmas, as it is Christmas Eve.
He talked to them, I got the ship. With one condition. We have to decorate the boat before I return it to him.
We decorate the boat?
The Kimura Tech Group wants to have a Christmas party on this ship.
Tim is working on something that grabs Elliot's attention.
What is that?
A Nephrim. It's a character from the Bottled Angel series. An angel of good luck. It's a limited edition. You hang this on at the ship's bow for protection. Pretty neat, huh?
In space, an unidentified object knocks out Kimura's satellite and crashes into Dinosaur Island. The crash sends out a large pocket of energy. A blue light approaches the boat and takes the form of Nephilim. Tim seems to be stuck in a form of stasis. Monsters approach the boat, and Elliot is knocked out. He awakens on Dinosaur Island sometime later with Nephilim in tow. Nephilim shows us a vision. We'll see several of these throughout Blue Stinger. This is a pretty lengthy intro, around 8 minutes in length before we can control Elliot. That intense music that played throughout, well, get used to it. On our radio, Elliot gets a message from a survivor, Janine King. Our goal is to reach her.
This is Janine King, KISS Dinosaur Island Security Office. Currently, the island is under an emergency situation. Do you read? Dispatch D7 equipped rescue. The location is...
As we head over, we get a menacing cut to an unknown man, and he's gone.
Yeah.
We'll meet this mysterious man shortly afterwards. This is Dogs Bauer, who earned a quick spot on my list of memorable game characters.
Tim is what? Dead?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know? Is that Acer's answer? You know, Tim once told me he had a high-level Acer member as a friend. Where are you going? To the island?
I am still a rescuer. There are people there who need help.
What a joke. Obviously, you're going to need good help, like me. I can't let a wimp like you go alone.
Whatever.
He'll join Elliot and we could swap back and forth between the two at any point. Janine, a sharpshooter, will take out a creature pursuing us. She's won over Elliot in short order.
What the hell?
Over there! I can't believe it. Shooting from that far?
No shit.
Janine?
A woman?
This is Janine, over.
You're great. If you're an Acer member, you'll definitely be ranked A+.
You're flattering me, but you won't get anywhere that way. You can get in here by taking the slope shuttle in front of you. If the shuttle is moving, that is. And forget it if you don't have an ID card.
Phew, tough girl. I like it, Janine.
Who the hell is Janine?
My kind of girl, so stay away from her.
We'll meet up with her to devise a plan of what to do next. Janine won't join us as she's wounded, but she'll radio us on the regular. As mentioned earlier, the voice acting is very notable in Blue Stinger. This is 1999, so still in the early days of voice acting. What's noticeable isn't the voice acting quality, it's more about the awkward pauses. And not the Silent Hill awkward pauses that give that dreamlike, otherworldly feel. Long pauses that feel out of place and goofy, which due to the time frame adds a certain charm to everything.
You know, you shouldn't run up your bill at Rat's place. Your name is on their blacklist. You're pretty famous.
God damn son of a bitch.
Janine, what's going on here? I mean, I don't think one meteor created that big dome and produced a bunch of monsters.
I have no clue either.
The lip sync is all over the place. At first I thought it was an emulation issue, but no, that's the case. So I thought, okay, I guess they kept the lip movements for what was done in Japanese. But playing the Japanese version, they used the English voices. So I have no idea what happened here. These three are great characters. Elliot insta falling in love with Janine is pretty funny.
I knew it. She's perfect. She's my kind of girl.
Nephilim is following us. Seems like she's in love with you.
2 girls and a guy. I see trouble in the near future.
In your dreams.
Throughout our journey, we'll talk with Janine over the radio. These conversations play out in an awkward manner. Instead of having a radio conversation like they would play out in Resident Evil 4, it cuts back and forth between a radio view and one of Elliot. This leads to further awkward pauses.
What are you doing? Did you go to Rat's place?
I'm looking for Taco Pen.
I guess she doesn't understand jokes.
I love these kind of chicks.
Santa, come in.
What would you like for a present, little girl?
Elliot, you're alive! I want you guys back here now.
Got it, sugar. I've got a present for you.
Hey, since when have you two gotten so close?
Women love a guy who'll risk his life for adventure.
And dogs? Man, what a great character. In such a short period of time, he climbed up my list of memorable and enjoyable game characters. His no-nonsense attitude bounces well off Elliot. There are plenty of hilarious moments between the two throughout.
This Santa's outfit is size LL.
Hey, what are you suggesting?
It's perfect for you.
I guess I have no choice.
It suits you.
When you have a kid, I'll visit you from the chimney.
That day might come soon.
And for some of you in the audience, these voices will sound familiar if you were into the Sonic games from this era. Elliot and Dogs being Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, respectively. Same goes for the voice actress of Janine, who played many roles there. She's done a ton of voice work throughout the years. Lots of work with Blizzard.
In the 5.
But unlike Sonic, a game known for movement, Blue Stinger is awkward in its own. In that early 3D kind of way. When people talk about games that don't age well, the era that most stands out is the early 3D gaming era, a time when developers were still getting a feel for cameras and movement in the third dimension. Blue Stinger is a great example, although in a different way than most. The camera in Blue Stinger is right behind us, something we can't control. There are several tight rooms throughout where it'll be hard to see enemies, but the larger issue is with movement. It feels off and sluggish. This is best exemplified through the action of picking up coins in Blue Stinger. Defeating certain enemies leads them to drop coins like Sonic rings. They fly all over the place. Most games this wouldn't be a huge issue. In Blue Stinger it's an annoying affair due to how controls handle. It takes far longer than it needs to pick up these coins. It always makes me appreciate games like Mario 64 that got so much right with how they did 3D movement and camera controls. Something we take for granted now but was unexplored territory at the time. So to have something like this occur in the early days of the 6th generation is a bit of a bummer. That said, Blue Stinger wasn't built from the ground up for Dreamcast. Initial development was on Sega Saturn. But we should note that the Japanese version of Blue Stinger was different. The camera behaved more like a classic survival horror title. Well, sort of. It's similar to Code Veronica or Eternal Darkness in how the camera would follow you around. Thing is, the camera is all over the place. I tried the Japanese version of Blue Stinger for about 20 minutes and the camera shifting drove me up the wall. Do we really need to zoom out this far? While movement does feel better with this camera, the shifting is simply too much. Odd enough, the Western release of Blue Stinger doesn't allow you to switch between the two. Another great example of awkward movements comes from the life hooks. There are stretches in Blue Stinger where you need to navigate narrow platforms. If you're not careful, you'll fall to your death. Well, unless you have a life hook. In this case, you get another chance for each hook you have. The sheer fact that we need these goes to show how awkward controlling Elliot or Dogs is. Either tighten up the controls or have it that we can't fall off ledges. Speaking of Blue Stinger driving me up the wall, let's talk about the music. Okay, it's not all bad, the tracks are well composed. The issue is how unrelenting the music is. Music is always bombastic and in your face. When I streamed Blue Stinger, people in chat mentioned how it always felt like there should be a countdown timer. You know in games where you have a countdown or a chase sequence and the music picks up? Well, that's more or less the music of Blue Stinger no matter what we're doing. It never lets up. But to go with the Christmas time frame, Blue Stinger delivers one memorable Christmas track. This track plays throughout the shopping area on Dinosaur Island, a place we'll be spending plenty of time in Blue Stinger. It's catchy and awful, so it's perfect Christmas music. Janine has the audacity to call this cool music.
Hey, I hear some cool music. How are you guys? Did you get a disc at Rat's place?
It wouldn't feel how it plays if you played it in a grocery store. Blue Stinger is going to drill it into your brain with how often you hear it, which again fits well with the spirit of Christmas music. And there's something about the instrumentation and composition where I can imagine a character from Family Guy singing over it. Let's get more into the positives of Blue Stinger, because there are plenty of elements to enjoy, like the combat. At any point we could switch between Elliot and Dogs. They each have their strengths and drawbacks. Elliot can swim, Dogs cannot, which makes that bit at the beginning so weird. Where did Dogs disappear if he can't swim? Is he too lazy to swim and leaves it to Elliot? Hold that thought on swimming for now. Elliot has both a melee and a long-range weapon option. For aiming, you need to point in the general direction and the game will do the rest. His default hand-to-hand is pretty great. That kick of his causes a nice stun lock to trap your enemies. But there's one melee weapon in particular that Elliot can get that's amazing. That being the stun rod. This became one of the more memorable weapons I've come across in the game in short order. It hits like a truck and sounds almost as devastating. For long-range options, Elliot can get a handgun, a bazooka, a napalm launcher, and quote-unquote a shotgun. I say shotgun in quotes because this isn't exactly how a shotgun handles. Dogs has different options. He starts with more health but is slower in movement. While he can't use two weapons at one time, he can block. Something that's not that necessary. He has some great guns at his disposal, like a railgun and a Gatling gun. But what adds so much to the character of dogs are the shirts he can wear. There's a karate shirt, a sumo shirt, and a wrestling shirt. What happens when you equip a shirt? Well, when you equip the karate shirt, it makes dogs feel like a karate master. Same thing goes for the sumo shirt. It makes him feel like a sumo wrestler. Although the wrestling shirt is disappointing. It says it makes him feel like a professional wrestler. Does Dog suplex enemies? Drop kick them? No, he only throws out a simple punch. Too bad, because the other shirts are great, and is part of the charm of dogs and what makes him such a memorable character. One thing that's notable in Blue Stinger is how little damage it takes for you to fall into a reduced movement state. Yes, you can extend your life, but it's ridiculous how little damage it takes to cause this reduced movement. So to rid the state, you need to heal. And your choice of healing items is one of the more notable charms of Blue Stinger. Grab yourself a Hasty, an energy drink to replenish your health. When Dogs or Elliot chugs one, they'll chuck the can after. Not the most friendly to the environment, but they have better things to focus on. It's eating food like a hot dog or a burger where things get odd. They take a little bite and chuck the rest of the food. It's like they reused the same animations and kept the tossing animations. It makes sense to eat it and have it disappear. But nope, it's just a small bite is all they need. One of those goofy design decisions that makes Blue Stinger so charming. And you also have to be considerate of when you heal in Blue Stinger. Eating or drinking takes time, and it's very easy for an enemy to interrupt if your timing is off. On the enemy front, there are some pretty decent designs. But my goodness, flying enemies are the bane of your existence in Blue Stinger. Whereas something like the stun rod works wonders on most enemies, it'll tend to whiff on flying enemies. It's easy to get stun locked by a group of them. Even with guns, it could be a crapshoot. They get too close and you're not going to get a shot off. Some enemies will respawn when re-entering areas, while others will not. Those that respawn will drop coins. You could use coins to buy weapons, ammo, and healing items. If you're thorough in your travels, you could bypass purchasing most weapons and find them instead. While ammo and healing items are out in the wild, they are more limited. I love the reaction of Elliot and Dogs each time they pick up an item.
Yeah.
There are a couple of other options for earning money in Blue Stinger. We could find some bank cards to use at the island's ATM. You'll have to deduct the pins of the card that we find through examining them. Same case goes for Elliot's own card. Although at first, he has next to nothing in his account. You can come back later once it's the 25th, the day he gets paid.
Merry Christmas!
It's now the 25th.
Oh, this is the worst Christmas I ever had.
Damn, it's my payday.
Did you miss a date tonight?
No way. Let's go.
Exploration is not the strong suit of Blue Stinger. The environments are fine, it's more how they tend to not loop on themselves. The game has a rhythm of getting a task from Janine, heading to said area, completing said task, and returning to her. Thing is, most of these sections have an endpoint where we have to head back the way we came. There's little in looping shortcuts to cut back on time. One egregious example late in the game is of descending ladders and rooms, only to have to return the way we came. And even worse are sections involving swimming. And you thought the default movement of Blue Stinger was wonky? If there's one area that early 3D gaming struggled with more than cameras, it was swimming. I struggle to think of a game with more swimming than Blue Stinger. I know it looks like I'm dark side Phil with this footage, but the controls are that awful with swimming. Felt like I was tricking Elliot with how I wanted him to swim. No wonder dogs want no part of this. It was always a relief to end a swimming stretch without drowning.
Colonel, I've got Emma Emmerich here. We've managed to avoid drowning. Good job.
With that, let's go through the highlights of Blue Stinger, so spoilers on the plot ahead. Per Dog's suggestion, we head to Rat's bar to find an employee ID card.
Let's go to Rat's place.
Rat's place? The bar where you ran up your unpaid bill? Why do we have to go drinking now?
Don't be ridiculous. The entire city area has been destroyed. The bar may not even exist.
There's nothing you can't get at Rat's place. That's what we say. Let's go, Elliot.
We'll have to come across various hurdles in the shopping district to get here, Christmas music blaring the entire time. There are a few side quests we could do along the way for more goodies.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday! Let's join in the Happy Market Christmas Stamp Rally now! Walk all over the store! Pen Pen Tina! Pen Pen Sparky! Taco Pen Sneak! Toto Pen Back! Collect all 4 stamps! When you collect all 4 stamps, you can purchase great items with a special discount on the 2nd floor! Yay!
We'll come across a few survivors along the way. We'll get what we need from Rat's place.
Dogs, thank God you're here. Ready to pay off your debt?
Dang, he's alive. I was hoping you'd be dead so that I'd be debt-free.
That's too bad. Most of my clients are dead.
You know, for a moment here I thought there was going to be a fishing minigame. It seems like something Blue Stinger would do. Why else would there be a fishing rod here? Returning to Janine, we're now off to get the power running. We get a revelation about Janine, followed by some tonal whiplash switching back to Dogs and Elliot.
What a bitch.
I think she's cute.
This section has us navigating through several similar rooms, finding broken power cables and fixing them. Not very fun, although stun rodding enemies to death never gets old. There's one room where we have a whole army of flying enemies to deal with. Very easy to get stun locked to death. And once we're done, time to walk all the way back to Janine. Ugh. Now they do mix things up along the way, but still, I would appreciate shorter loops back. We'll get more flashbacks from Nephi that builds more intrigue into what's going on in Blue Stinger. We continue further into Dinosaur Island, with more shenanigans between Elliot and Dogs, like stopping for a quick dip.
I'm gonna take a bath. Nothing's gonna stop me.
What you'll do if the monster attacks you while you're butt naked?
I'll fight back butt naked. Stop whining. Let's jump in the tub.
I'm not sure if this is such a good idea.
Hey, in the tub we go. Taking a bath in the middle of the battlefield. That cool.
Well, I guess.
Hey, you're more macho than I thought.
Shut up.
This might be the last bath I can take.
see.
Along the way, Elliot gets infected and starts to transform.
Ellie, can you see me? We've got to get to ground level 2 somehow.
Turns out the dinocyte cell is in Elliot's blood and his condition continues to grow worse.
The dinocyte cell has been discovered. Please wait for personnel.
Somebody will show up.
Stupid, nobody will come. You're all dead. Take it off me, please.
What is the dinocyte cell? Finding research disks, we discover Kimura is doing research on an alien organism codenamed Jeskany. This has caused the monsters on the island and the infection of Elliot. With this transformation, Elliot can now climb up pipes onto roofs. And my goodness, the controls during this segment are a trip. Again, it feels like I'm tricking Elliot in the direction I want him to go. Hilarity ensures as Elliot's condition continues to worsen and Janine contacts him over the radio.
Hi guys, still surviving like cockroaches? Who are you?
No!
Now look what you did. You scared her. Next time I'll answer the line.
We now have a time limit to get Elliot back to normal. Which, hey, the music is now more fitting as a result. We learn that the crashing object from the game's intro was Nephilim. However, Nephilim didn't reach the core of the island. A couple of shutters block the way. So what are these shutters protecting? Well, they're protecting what the researchers have called Jeskany. Crash landed on Earth about 65 million years ago and began to hatch in the year 2000, hence the earthquake in the area at the time. It's set to hatch in 2018, the year Blue Stinger takes place. Sounds a lot like Lavos from Chrono Trigger. This is the creature we see in various flashbacks with Nephilim. It's up to us to remove these last few shutter layers. Janine sends us to get her rifle from the residential district. Hang on, what happened to her rifle from earlier? Did she run out of ammo? She wasn't shooting from the residential district, the place we met her throughout Blue Stinger. But of course we have a few more hurdles along the way, like dealing with Janine's dead neighbors.
Hi, Janine. It's Christmas. Upset because your ID card wouldn't work, huh? Well, then come on over to our party. Look, we played a little trick on your ID card. Otherwise, we knew you'd never come. Love ya, from John and Nick. Bye-bye.
I ended up running in circles for a while here. One ID card we need to find blends in well with the decorations. Heading to Janine's place, we get more context into why she has a locklet of dogs.
What? Huh?
Hey, what's this?
None of your business.
But this lady holding a baby, she's an Easter shooting instructor.
Jean King. My ex-wife.
Then the baby is?
Janine. My daughter.
No, you're kidding. Wow, the plot thickens. Why did you get a divorce?
I forgot what it was all about. Besides, it was 20 years ago. Jean was so hard-headed. She got sick and passed away.
Crazy. I really feel for Janine.
Look, kid. Keep your hands off that girl.
Don't try to run my life, dogs.
What do you say?
Let's go. Janine's waiting.
Returning to Janine, she and dogs take a boat ahead while Elliot has to swim there.
I'm counting on you, hon. Look at that. A family reunion.
Shut up.
Well, you don't need to. You could walk on these side ledges. Thank God, because this would have driven me up the wall if I had to swim the entire way. Reaching the top, we have to give Janine a little under 4 minutes to set up her shot to open the shutters. We have to protect her from a couple of indestructible monsters. Easy to hold them off, but 4 minutes is far too long. Nothing really exciting happens or changes. With that, Nephilim is able to reach the core and starts duking it out with Jeskany.
Beat him, Neffy!
Please!
And while they duke it out, we'll have a fight with a clone Juskany. We both emerge victorious. And hey, Tim is still alive. Nephilim leaves, and we end with a post-credit stinger of Nephilim out in space. See You Next Adventure seems to indicate a Blue Stinger sequel. The studio pitched a sequel to Sega, but instead went on to make It'll Bleed. Something as of writing I do plan on covering in the near future. A better, more realized game. Yeah, the story of Blue Stinger is all over the place. There are small bits and pieces about Kimura as a biotech company, but only small drops of information. But Elliot, Janine, and especially Dogs are all likable and memorable. The game never takes itself too seriously, and there are plenty of funny moments. Some due to that odd nature of conversations of Blue Stinger, the awkward pauses and the way conversations are shot, but there are a lot of funny character moments, especially with Dogs, that made Blue Stinger an enjoyable, if inconsistent, experience. And while it struggles with the growing pains of early 3D gaming, Blue Stinger has an earnest charm about it that you don't come across these days. As of late, Sega is digging through its old IPs to revive. I've seen some mention that Blue Stinger is one to revisit, but I think they should leave it as is. Blue Stinger is very much a game of its time, with all the good and the bad that comes along with it. And while it can be downright frustrating at times, Blue Stinger has that charm that would be next to impossible to recreate these days. It's a title from a better, simpler time. While I would be curious to see how a sequel would have played out back in the day, it's fine as is. If you're looking for a game that gives insight into the early days of the 6th generation of gaming, the best generation, Blue Stinger is a great title to explore. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you'd like to support the channel further, do consider becoming a patron member or YouTube member. You'll get access to videos earlier and be featured in the coming credits.
Can you hold on a sec?
Go ahead.
Janine?
I don't think she likes you.
That snotty little brat. I'll bet her mother is exactly like her.
You're in a bad mood.